So for anyone just coming through the stream, the servers are down for PlayStation, so we're gonna do a matchup chart. Not a tier list, a matchup chart. We're gonna talk about Reptile's matchups and how I feel about each one in the game. Maybe we'll make a tier list another day. Fun fact for those of you that don't know, I'm like one of the only like well-known gamers, pro players, top players, whatever you want to call it, content creators that hasn't to this point put out a tier list for MK1. But we're going to do a matchup chart, and we're going to do a Reptile matchup chart, and this is going to be based off of mainly Scorpion as a cameo for anyone that's wondering out here. This is going to be mainly with Scorpion as cameo, and yeah, we'll go over each character out here. Okay, 6-4. Maybe I'll just go in order from these things. I could also talk about, actually I'm gonna talk about a little bit of, I'm gonna mention Shijinko anyways, because I can't not mention Shijinko for the Quan-Chi matchup, and maybe we'll mention Chameleon as well as cameo options, but those would be the main ones. I'm not really going to be talking about other ones. Linder says Quad loses 7-3. All right, so let's go with the beginning. So Ashrah as a matchup, losing matchup. 4-6. I think it's kind of obvious. Like it's kind of tough when Ashrah wants to like stay back and zone. It's tough, right? You gotta really work your way in there. You gotta be really patient against her. If she's with like Lau as a cameo, I feel like she can zone you quite well. Against Serena, she can, a lot of Ashrahs like to use Serena, but with Serena, like, it's also really bad if you ever throw out a force ball as Reptile against someone using Serena, you die, because the Serena cameo tanks the hit, the blades are hitting you, they get a full combo. So whenever you're playing against Ashrah, if they're using Ashrah Serena, if you force ball at the same time that the Kia blade shit, you die. The one saving grace that you do have is you do have your death roll that you can use to get in there. Oftentimes you're doing it on like a hard read though, because it's pretty tough to react to, and I'm talking mainly from an online perspective as well. To be honest, I haven't even played this game offline, but from online anyways, like I find that against Ashrahs, yeah, like you gotta just fucking make those reads sometimes to not let them just chuck that stuff at you so freely. And then, you know, she has her overhead and shit, and it can be tough to deal with sometimes, but yeah. Ashrah wins 4-6. For anyone wondering, by the way, 6-4 means Reptile's favor. 5-5 is even matchup. 4-6 is the other character's favor. 3-7 means it's like really in their favor. I don't think there's anything worse than a 3-7 in this game. I don't think. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Next one. Baraka. See, this guy, he's kind of like here, in my opinion. Part of it is like, I just really fucking hate this character. Because, like, you know, his double hitting back three, which is like a mid-low, it's just kind of annoying to deal with. He has his safe overhead that gets a full combo as well, but you know, technically you should be able to react to it because it's on the slow side. But yeah, it's kind of annoying. There's like this thing where Baraka, he can like do this armor shit, or not armor shit, he can do his enhanced chopping shit, and you can actually armor through it. But for Reptile, if you armor through it, you just kind of like fly, like go under him and go away. And I guess if you want to escape, it's something that you can do, but it's not great. You know what, let's put it 5-5, because you know, people like to say I'm a down player. I've seen the comments. I don't think I'm a down player. I honestly think I'm a realist. I think I just say it how I genuinely see it as, but you know, to each their own. General Shao, honestly, I will say for the longest, Dialogue, who is in the chat right now, has been cooking me with General Shao. And I'm like, man, this character is so annoying. Like when he gets that axe on the ground and he's just throwing these fucking overheads that are fucking safe on you, sweeps that are plus, or a little stomp shit, whatever. That shit's pretty annoying, honestly. And like setting that up feels kind of free sometimes. But like I've started playing, I think, better. I don't know. Maybe I started playing better, and I'm seeing it as a 5-5. I'm seeing it as a 5-5. Kai's in the chat says I think it's 5-5. It can go either way. I'm seeing it as a 5-5. Maybe if you asked me a month ago, I might have said it would be. I would have probably said it's in Shao's favor, but that's mainly from getting whooped by Dialogue. Dialogue in the chat says he feels like Shao wins. I'm gonna have it as a 5-5 because I'm a Reptile up player. Next matchup, Geras. I've actually never felt too like this was too difficult. I've always felt like Geras is okay, and usually Geras players, they like to run Lao, and I don't know, I don't have a whole lot of issues with the character. He can be definitely annoying because, you know, reversing time and getting his health back, running away, but like technically, you know, when he's throwing out some of these overheads and stuff, there is technically punishable. You know, I don't think he's like as annoying to deal with. We're gonna have him in the 5-5. Havik, this is like another one. If you asked me a couple months ago, Mr. Strange would kick my ass when he's playing Havik, but I've been doing a lot better against Haviks. I've been seeing what I need to do against them. I think Havik, he's just like a whiff punishing machine. Like his I don't know what the string is, but his mid string, that's like 19 frames, that forward advancing mid string, it's great for catching people whiffing. But if you stop whiffing so much, then he's a lot more manageable. Back 2-2. Yeah, he's a lot more manageable to fight against. I definitely don't feel like Reptile beats him, and currently I don't feel like Reptile loses to him. I'm gonna put that in the 5-5. Johnny, this bitch Johnny. So he's kind of like here. It's like Johnny, this bitch is he beats Reptile. It's just how badly does he beat Reptile? I think maybe in the 4-6 category. Johnny's pretty annoying. So he has Reptile's back 3-1. Maybe I'll even just show you guys. Hold on. If I do the enhanced dash thing, right? There's a lot of ways you can blow this up. What's Johnny's moves? Hold on. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can blow this up. You can do that. That blows it up. You know, you can flawless block punish it. But like Johnny gets the privilege of also getting to just fucking parry this shit, because why not? So it's like doing this against Johnny is essentially a death sentence because he has 3 different ways of blowing it up. Like it's pretty annoying. So you can't really use the move. Sometimes you still gotta use it because you gotta let them know like, hey, I'ma still use the move. But if you do use it, you're really, you know, risking shit. Not only that, Reptile's main fucking string, you parry it. Main string, parry it, you know, and die, you know. So that's pretty bad. Now the thing is, you know, there is some counterplay to it, right? Like if the Johnny is just out here doing this shit, like my option as the Reptile player. So here's my option, right? That my option is I gotta stagger that, bait him, and punish him, right? But if he does that, I die. If I let it rock, I die. So his parry can really fuck you up, and that's really annoying, right? The fact that I can't do that, the fact I have to stagger this to like bait him, but it's like, okay, I could bait him, but at that point, like I really do have to just, you know, outplay him. Muaz in the chat says you're helping Johnny Cage players now. Stop. If Johnny Cage players don't know this by now, I don't know, you're just probably pretty fucking bad, because this has been known since like the first month this game's come out. That can be very annoying for Reptile. And then when you couple it with the fact that like Johnny Cage, yeah, like he can be full stream, and like when he does that, like he's essentially like, you just gotta respect it. You gotta respect this fucking shit, and you gotta let him like make his fucking way in from like however far in the thing, and then you just gotta hold his pressure when he has this chameleon shit. Because like if you're jumping back and you do that, you jump back, he just hits you with this shit. So you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. You gotta just let him like do this shit, and then you gotta hold his pressure, right? And then you just gotta be better, right? You gotta figure out when he's actually negative, and then you gotta deal with it, and then eventually he's gonna throw you, and then he's gonna get a combo or whatever. Like, you just gotta deal with that shit. And honestly, it can be pretty annoying, but the one saving grace that you have, like as a Reptile player, I feel like in this matchup, the one saving grace that you got is your sweep, because you can kind of outspace him with your sweep. You can do that to like make him stay back. You know, you got your force ball, but when he has chameleon as a cameo, or even whatever cameo, like the force balls are never like 100% gonna keep him out, because even if he doesn't have a projectile, his cameo is always giving him a projectile, right? Like, it's not like, oh, Johnny has no projectiles, he can't get in. He has a cameo. He will always have a cameo, and he will always be able to get his way in. So I don't know, the character, he can be pretty annoying. You just gotta outplay him, I guess. You know, you gotta outplay him. I'm gonna have Johnny in like the no, I'm gonna put him in the 4-6. I'm gonna put him 4-6, but like he's like one of the hardest 4-6s, honestly, for Reptile. He's like borderline 7-3 out here. Kenshi, this character is so fucking stupid, man. This character is so dumb. Like, I see Tekken Master saying how Kenshi's not top 5. I'm like, how high are you right now? How high are you to tell me that this character is not top 5? Like, in what world is this character not top 5? What fucking weaknesses? Oh, when he has Sento stance, he can't armor? Is that it? Is that it? Because like, this bitch can summon Sento on any touch, and in some situations on block strings with the right cameo, and then you resummon this Sento bitch for 1 bar. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, this character is ridiculous. His comeback potential is ridiculous. He gets combos. He gets low overhead mix-ups that are not only safe, but plus, when he has Sento, because it's still his turn, even if you guess right, he sandwiches you, you die, and then, yeah, and you gotta hold 15-second block strings, like, while guessing for your life. While guessing for your life. Like, this character is so stupid, man. He's actually so stupid. But I'm gonna have him in the 4-6 area. Like, I do think yeah, I do think it's 4-6. It's just like, man, like, you just can't let him get a hit, man. You can't let him get a hit. You gotta outplay the hell out of him in neutral. And I do think in neutral, Reptile is at an advantage when it just comes to straight neutral before Sento comes out. I think Reptile is at an advantage in that regard. But once he gets that touch, it's like, it's so bad. London says can't let him sandwich. It's not even like what do you mean? It's like it's not even like you can't let him get a touch, because if he gets the touch, he can sandwich you. You can't stop him. You can't stop him from ending his combo with the yeah, and then now he's on the other side and fucking die. You know, fucking die. So it's not even can't let him sandwich you. It's can't let him touch you. If he touches you, then you get fucked. So yeah, that's Kenshi in a nutshell. So he's pretty fucking annoying, but it's like he's gonna be like this against every character. I'd love to know what characters out there, does he even struggle against anyone? Dialogue says, why do you get hit? All your fault. In some situations, maybe. In some situations, it's your fault. In some situations, he's just stupid, man. So that's Kenshi. Kitana. I'm gonna say Kitana is a 5/5 with Reptile. She definitely zones him out, but technically you got your death roll. So you can get under some of her fan shit. So there is that. You know, she has gaps that you can armor through if you want to. She can bait you. She can definitely bait you. But there's that. But yeah, she doesn't really have like annoying, obnoxious mix. You know, she has great range on some of her normals. Her sweep, great range. I don't know what the poking shit is. Maybe it's back 2 or something. That has great range as well. Her zoning is strong, but nothing about her is like overwhelmingly bad. Back 2, yeah, that has insanely good range. But yeah, what do these numbers mean, says Devrim. So for those of you unfamiliar with matchup numbers, the matchup numbers are based on the highest level of play in a 10 game situation. How many games is each character going to win played at the highest level? So a 5/5 means you play 10 games, both characters, both Reptile and Baraka should both win 5 games out of 10 because it's even, right? 4/6 is like, okay, it's harder for Reptile to win against Johnny, against Ashrah, against Kenshi. In a 10 game situation, maybe I'll win 4 and they'll win 6, played at the highest level, which is why sometimes, not to like shit on other people, but sometimes people that are just bad at the game will just throw out these matchup numbers. They'll be like, oh my god, Reptile beats Lee May 8-2 because I just lost 8-2. No, it just means you're fucking bad and the Reptile player just beat you 8-2. It's not the same. It's not the same as when it's played at the highest level. It should always be based on that. Generally speaking, and like matchups and tier lists in general, all that shit, like that's always should be assumed at the highest level. Most people that play these games are not playing it at the highest level. So matchups and tier lists really shouldn't matter for those individuals, to be honest. But that's a whole other topic of conversation. Shaletta says, I will say the fact Raiden can punish force ball from full screen is fucking annoying. Fucking annoying. You're the Raiden player doing that to people. Imagine how I feel. What do you mean? So yeah, anyways, back to the topic of conversation. Kitana is 5/5. You know what? I'll just let the chat box be open. So if you guys want to talk, I think it should show up on the screen now. I might as well just like let it be there. Chapter 7B Lao matchup 6-4. Lao, this bitch, he is quite is Peacemaker here, by the way? Yeah, he is. This bitch Lao is one of, if not one of the worst matchups. One of the worst matchups for Reptile. Like, without a doubt, it is so ass. It is so ass. Let me tell you why. So, as we were talking about with Johnny, you know, Reptile's back 3-1, his best string, right? His main go-to string, it has a gap. And Kung Lao has safe, not only safe, plus on block, launching armor. So if I ever do a back 3, he can just throw out his armor. If he doesn't have a cameo, it's safe, so he can throw that shit out. If he has a cameo, like Goro, he's plus if I block. And if he hits me, then he gets a full combo, 30%. So I'm risking 30% of my life just to back 3-1 on block. Flat back 3-1 on block. And not only that, if I stagger the string, he can punish me because he has a 6-frame Punisher. Him and Liu Kang, they have 6-frame Punishers to punish anything that's -7 or worse. So I die that way. Either way, I die. 114 that I do with Reptile, which is, you know, his double punch that leads into like his kick shit. That's -7 on block. Kung Lao, full combo punish. If I force ball, he can be easily jumping, dive kicking, punishing me for that too. It is not a fun matchup. Not a fun matchup in the slightest. It is so shit. And then even when I get in my invisibility, like even when I get a hit and I get an invisible setup going or something like that, he has safe armor with Goro, so I gotta somehow try to like circumvent the trajectory of where he's going, and his armor is hitting from like half screen. Like, this character is so stupid, man. Like, I don't know how it is for like other characters, but from a Reptile perspective, dude, it is awful, man. This matchup's garbage. This matchup's actually garbage. I don't even know how I beat Kung Lao players sometimes, because if I'm beating you with Reptile and you're using Kung Lao, you're doing something wrong, man. That matchup's absolute garbage. K-Max says Quan has gaps on every string he has. Lao is impossible. I could imagine that would be really bad for Quan too. Definitely. All right, next one. Li Mei. This character, she's good, but the one thing that Li Mei doesn't have going for her, right, that some other like good characters has, is she doesn't have the safety aspect. Because generally Li Mei's, you see them pair with Scorpion, because Scorpion, I think Scorpion, kind of similar to how Scorpion like lets Reptile get like big damage and conversions off of certain stuff that otherwise they wouldn't be able to. Very similar for Li Mei. And Li Mei is out here, she's doing, you know, 45 to like 53% combos because she has Scorpion. She has a 6-frame Punisher. Ooh, she does have a 6-frame Punisher. That's honestly pretty ass too. I think some Li Meis don't really take advantage of their 6-frame Punisher as much as they should, because that's a really good thing against anyone that has a -7 move. And I think there's a lot of characters out here that do. I think Li Mei's really should be taking advantage a little bit more, because yeah, her 6-frame Punisher reversal, you can get full combo with, you know, Scorpion as a cameo, which they usually use. She can just throw out her fucking whatever that move is, you know, that knee that she does that goes like half screen and it's like fast as fuck. It's like, I don't even know, 12 frames, and it just catches you. And then, you know, the risk reward, it's like high risk, high reward. You know, you get the hit, you're getting like, I don't know, 35 something. If you do block that, then, you know, you can punish her for a full combo. It's like, she's kind of like high risk, high reward in that aspect. She does have like 50/50s and shit like that for like really big damage. Character's really good, but I'm gonna say that she's 5/5, mainly because, you know, you do have the option to actually punish her for stuff, and, you know, her range isn't the greatest, so I do have that going for me in the matchup. At least I can compete with her in the range game and whatever. And then like sometimes if we trade projectiles, you know, that could still be in my favor. So yeah, we'll put her there. Next one, Liu Kang. So Liu Kang, as I was saying earlier, he also has, you know, a 6-frame Punisher, which is very annoying to deal with. The one thing is that Liu Kang, his armor, not as good, and like when you get him in the corner, you can actually lock him down pretty well, because his armor like doesn't go very far and it doesn't last for the full duration of the move. So that's like the one thing you got. But the thing that sucks so much about Liu is just that like he's a strike throw like monster, because essentially all Lius are running Lao as a cameo, and, you know, they grab you, they throw you, you take 22%, or if they open you up with like a mid, then you take even more, and his forward 4 just kind of vacuums you in sometimes. It has this weird like hitbox thing going on where like you try to back up and hit him, but like his kicks, they just get you, and it's mad annoying to deal with. And like coupled with his 6-frame button, he has his projectile that he can enhance, and it's a mid and it blows up your own projectiles. That's all really annoying. So he's like one of those as well, borderline 4-6-3-7, but I'll put him in the 4-6 category, but it's definitely a bad matchup. Infamous in the chat says a tier list cameo for Reptile would be good. It's like, it would be good, but I don't use all the cameos, so I don't think it would be generally when I think of like tier lists, matchup charts, those type of things, I like to believe, or like at least for me, I want it to be at the highest level. And in my opinion, I can play Reptile Scorpion at the highest level. I can play Reptile Shujinko. I can do Reptile Chameleon all at the highest level. I firmly believe I can do all of that at the highest level. But I'm not going to come here and say I can play Reptile Sector at the highest level, or Reptile Kano, or Reptile Jax. Like I just don't play those cameos. So I feel like if I were to say like that, it just doesn't really make sense, because I don't play them, you know. So I don't play them at the highest level. I play Cyrax as well, like a fair amount, but do I play him at the highest level? It's debatable. What do you think of Mitaro with Reptile? I think Mitaro with Reptile is just a fun pick, but I don't personally see Mitaro being better for Reptile than in any matchups over a different cameo. I think Mitaro's fun. He's fun and he has some stuff, but nothing about Mitaro, in my opinion, is like I have to use Mitaro in this matchup because he's so good. Like I just don't see that, but he's fun. Anyways, next one, Mileena 5-5, because Mileena, yeah, she can be really annoying with her fucking safe, unreactable 12% overhead that breaks armor, you know, like that shit is annoying. But you know, she does have some weaknesses with like her 1-2 string being flawless block punishable, you know, there's that. And then a lot of it comes down to just, you know, playing neutral, making the right decisions on like staggers, making the right decisions on all those little things, right? And then yeah, it feels very 5-5 at that point to me. She has some annoying setups and stuff like that, especially with the Lao hat, but overall I feel like it's pretty 5-5. So we'll put that there. Nitara, maybe this is a hot take, but I actually think Nitara beats Reptile. Mainly due to just her air mobility is just so, like, if I throw out a force ball, it's such a big risk against Nitara, because her air mobility is so good and she can just fly over and dive kick you from so many different angles and Reptile's force balls have so much recovery on them that like it's so risky to even throw out a force ball. It's risky, like so then it puts you in a situation where now you're just kind of like stuck sometimes, and you're scared to even do anything because she's just moving around so much. So yeah, and like you couple her with Chameleon now, and like Chameleon makes her like really scary, because now she's getting like real mix-ups off of shit, and like plus frames off of shit, throw combos, all that shit, and her damage output's insane. I think Nitara is actually kind of tough. Kaiden says it's not a hot take. She beats him. You can't do force balls without risking getting full comboed. Yeah, so it's pretty tough, honestly. Nitara is a hard matchup. I do think Scorpion as a cameo is the way to go against Nitara, mainly because Scorpion as a cameo allows you to like throw him out there and like could sniper out of the air and can somewhat keep her grounded in situations so that you can try to do stuff. And then when at least when you do get her and you hit her down, her armor attack is a high, so you can not have to worry about her armor as much. You can like, you know, poke her or something like on knockdown situations on Oki. So you have that. But yeah, she's really good. And really tough to deal with, I think, for Reptile. Raiden, he's another one. He's just an annoying bitch, man. Raiden's an annoying bitch. Because like Shaletta was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here or not, but anytime Reptile does a force ball, if Raiden teleports, I die. So just throwing out force balls against Raiden can definitely be risky, because his teleports can just full combo punish you. He can Superman jump, fly across the screen. He can run away so well. He can run away so well. It's honestly like, oh, part of me is wondering if like I need an 8-2 category, because like yeah, I think this is probably a 3-7, honestly. Like he but then I don't know, it's hard, like, because his runaway can be really annoying, and he can punish you for throwing force balls, which makes you scared to throw out any force balls. And then he has his ridiculous chip sequences and shit that you gotta hold. He has his overhead that's safe, that's essentially just a free 8% into knockdown, into hold this still, right? That's just all annoying. And one thing I have noticed about this dude, Raiden as well, I've noticed Reptile's back 3-1 whiffs on hit more so against Raiden than any character in the game. Like, I will hit this bitch with my back 3 and then the one will whiff so many times. Like, it has to be the worst against Raiden. So yeah, it's pretty annoying. Kaizen says Lao needs the A2 category. Like, I could see, how do I add another category? Can I Geras with the tier 1 sub, thank you, appreciate it. And a row below. Like, if I were to put it a 2-8, I would say maybe Lao goes there, and I would bring Liu and Johnny to here and bring Raiden to here as well. Like, but I don't want to do that though, because I feel like that a 2-8 is like really fucking bad. And I don't know if anything's quite 2-8. 8-2 is gonna have you flamed on Twitter, says an 8. Yeah, I know. So I don't think I'm gonna put that, but we're gonna leave it like that, at least for now. But like, part of me feels like if anything, not a fan of 0.5s. But if I were to put a 3.5, like 6.5, then I would put these bitches here. It would be something like that. Like, they're harder than these other 4.6s, but not quite as difficult as this 3.7. So I'm generally not a fan of 0.5s, but technically you could say instead of a 10 game set, you do a 20 game set. In a 20 game set, I'll win 7, and this bitch will win 13 at the highest level. Part of me feels like these guys really are just a notch harder. Maybe Kenshi too. Like, they all just feel a little bit harder, but Kenshi is like, it feels a little bit more doable sometimes, but and then sometimes not. I don't know. Rain. I actually played Bandinos a fair amount lately in the HDGG Weekly, and he beat me 3-0 and then 3-1, and I feel like he was just playing it he's just really good. Like, it didn't feel like he actually, the character bodies Reptile. It just felt like he was just playing really good. So I'm gonna put Rain in the 5-5 because I don't. It's like Rain. He has an overhead, which is annoying, but it's not. He has an overhead, which is annoying, but technically it should be reactable. So it's like if I get hit, I guess that's on me, you know. But I don't know. His zoning and stuff can be kind of annoying and shit like that, but I feel like it should be a 5-5. Reiko. I think Reiko is 5-5 as well. I think Reiko's a 5-5 because he has his projectiles. If he doesn't amp it, you can, you know, death roll under it. So there's that. He has really great range on a lot of his normals, which can really compete well with like the range that Reptile has. But then at the same point, like Reptile has the ability to compete with Reiko's range because he also has some good range on some of his shit that I can use, especially with Scorpion. Like stand 3 into Scorpion, I can use that to catch him in some situations. When Reiko knocks me down, it's not so bad all the time because Scorpion gives me an out with his back cameo spear pull, so it doesn't have to feel as terrible. Scorpion, he feels 5-5. It's 5-5 as well. He doesn't, yeah, like technically if he does a spear from full screen, technically Reptile can actually duck it, Reptile dash and punish, but it's sometimes just kind of hard to do that in practice. But either way, like a lot of what he does, like Reptile dash punish, like same thing with like the sweep, as long as he's not using a cameo to make him safe. And then it just comes down to like, you know, the matchup. So I don't think there's anything too crazy there. Shang. I think Shang Reptile is also 5-5. Like dealing with his zoning can be kind of annoying, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, you know, because you do have like the fact that Reptile's death roll is low profiles, a lot of projectiles, does help him in some of these situations. When you can get characters in the corner and they don't have good armor moves to get out, it can help. It makes like the lockdown and like just keeping them in the corner and whatever, deleting their health bar, it makes it just that much easier. And like Shang, he's also one of those characters that his armor isn't the greatest, especially I think when he's old man Shang, it's actually kind of ass. When he's young man Shang, he has some more range and stuff with that. But even outside that, it's like I find that dealing with the zoning and stuff isn't the hardest thing in the world. You just gotta play good. And yeah, it feels pretty 5-5 to me. Sindel's a bitch. She's a bitch. She's probably also in this like category, maybe a 4-6. Sindel can be kind of tough. A big thing that's annoying with her is like I find that after a lot of like blocked things and whatever, if I try to like, if we have like some space between us and shit, if I throw out a force ball, she can like neutral jump, float, go towards me and punish my force ball into full combos. Like she doesn't even have to take the risk of jumping at me. She can just jump straight up, float, and then react accordingly to whether or not I'm throwing force balls, and then punish me for that. And then when you add in like the other shit of like her mixes with Lao and stuff like that, like yeah, you can call Scorpion to like tank hits and stuff, but you can only do it so many times. And yeah, she gets some like annoying mixes, and she has some great range on some of her stuff, and like her hair shenanigans can be kind of annoying. I think Sindel is kind of tough, but doesn't feel as tough, I guess, as some of these other ones, but she definitely does feels tough. Smoke, I think he's 5-5. Like his invisibility is better, and he can get it and use it way more than I can, which it makes me annoyed. It makes me annoyed in the matchup. It makes me a little bit jealous in the matchup that he can do that when I can't. But I'm not going to say that it's a losing matchup. I think these other ones are tougher. And with Smoke, it's like, you know, if you get those up blocks on, like, you know, the low overhead strings and stuff like that, you get your openings to punish him. You can do stuff. His wake up is good but not great. There's ways of like blowing it up, like you can knock him down, jab as like an Oki option, and if he wakes up then you have enough time to block it and full combo punish. Like, you have some options like that, which makes it not terrible. Sub-Zero is an interesting one, because like he actually is like, both characters with Sub and Reptile, they have ways of countering each other. So like Reptile's force balls, right? If Sub just throws out a clone, right? If I throw out a force ball at the same time he throws out a clone, my force ball will go through the clone and hit him and launch him, right? So at first I was thinking like, oh, like this is good for Reptile, right? When I'm playing these subs, that would just be autopilot and just keep on trying to throw out clones in neutral. But they just don't have to do that. And if they don't do that, now they have all these other options, because you can reactionary jump, dive kick my force balls. You can easily reactionary armored slide through my force ball, literally any distance on the screen. If I throw out a force ball, you can just do that. So then it becomes like, can I even throw out force balls anymore? And if I can't, is he gonna just allow, am I gonna allow him to just like approach me so easily and potentially mix me? And now, and the Kaizen was saying Sub Chameleon is 6'4", no question about that. Without, it's 5'5". Yeah, I think before Chameleon was out, I was saying that I felt like the matchup was 5'5", but now that Chameleon's out, there's so much more mix and guessing and shit going on. Like, he has multiple strings that end in lows where he can put out Chameleon and get a full combo. Now the thing is, if you block it, right, if you block the Chameleon Mileena ball roll, if you block it, you can punish it, right? But then he has like some options where like the low he can do launch with the Mileena air side, or you can do the Mileena overhead. So it's like, it's a straight up 50-50, but the low option he can be completely safe on, which is going to make you want to block low, because you're going to think he's going to want to do the safe option, but then he throws out the overhead and then you die. So it's like, it's a guess, but it's a guess generally, I would say, in Sub's favor, because he has the option of safety, and you gotta just, you know, make those hard reads, because I don't think there's any reacting to that. And then now on top of that, you know, he has his general overhead that he can use into the Jade Glaive. And when Subs went overhead into Serena, it was like, okay, like at least if they do overhead Serena, there's some counterplay to that. Like if I block the overhead, I can then block the blade, duck it, and then like get a full combo punish against the blade as they're coming back. There was like tech to deal with it. But now it's like overhead into Jade Glaive. If you get hit, now you die, and if you block it, well, he's still plus anyways. So that's pretty annoying. And then yeah, you couple it with like the fact that now he's also getting like these combos off of slides and shit like that. It's just like, yeah, he gets a lot of options out here. I don't think he's like as bad as these guys, but I do think this matchup's in Sub's favor as well. It's before Chameleon, I would say it was a 5-5 as well. I agree with Kaizen. And now I do think it's a little bit tougher. I was actually playing Rebello quite a bit the other day, and like I can beat him, like, because you know, losing matchups, they're still winnable. It's just a losing matchup. But like it's tough. You got to make like good reads a lot of times, and I feel like a lot of times you got to outplay. So yeah, we'll put him there. Tanya, she's kind of the same deal. Similar to Lau in the regard of I have this armor move. That I can do to get through your back 3-1 gap, and with Goro, I'm gonna be plus on block, right? That's really annoying. The thing though is, at least with Tanya, she's only getting like 20% for that compared to the 30% that Kung Lao gets. Her mid is really good though, and really annoying. In some instances, like she actually maybe she actually would be more so in this category of characters too, where it's like not as bad as him, but potentially worse than some of these guys. Yeah, I think it might be like that. All right, next, Omni-Man. Omni-Man, I think Omni-Man's 5-5. Like, he's good, but I think you can kind of play the neutral game decently with him. If he's doing Lao setups, you have Scorpion to kind of tank Lao hats and stuff to make it not as annoying. And then, yeah, you just gotta play it out. I think it's 5-5. It doesn't seem like anything too crazy. Quan-Chi, guys, this is our one winning matchup in this entire fucking game. Quan-Chi, 6-4, guys. Our one winning matchup in this game, and that's when you're using Shujinko as a cameo. In the latest patch, they actually somewhat nerfed Shujinko and somewhat buffed him at the same time. Cease in the chest is winning. I feel like Quan beats Reptile. Do you play Quan, Cease? If you play Quan, I would love to play your Quan and see how it goes. But he says he does. Are you available? Are the servers back? can we play? You think Quan beats Reptile? I've played the matchup quite a bit. I played catch up recently. So I will say, in the latest patch, they changed Shujinko. So before, normally he gets his regular green skull. As a thing. And then they changed it. He could do the purple skulls when Quan-Chi has the purple shit out. But then they changed it, and now Shujinko no longer gets the purple shit from Quan-Chi, but he does have Quan-Chi's buffed bone cage, which is nice. I don't really know how much it matters. I've been trying to experiment a little bit of how much it matters that like the bone cage now comes out on block, but from what I've done in practice, it doesn't seem to matter a whole lot that the bone cage is like that, but maybe it still needs further testing. But I played a lot of Quan-Chis. I played a long set with Ketchup's Quan-Chi. I played a long set with Burrito Voices Quan-Chi. I played a long set with I think Cam is Black's Quan-Chi. And I played other Quan-Chis too. And a lot of times it ends the same, where I just start steamrolling at a certain point. Early on, I find is like when the matches will be the most close. Like I actually recently in Coliseum lost 3-2 to a Quan-Chi player like Enzo or whatever. And I find that usually early in the set is when the Quan-Chi will do their best. But then as the sets go on, I feel like I start just seeing how they're doing certain things, and then I'll be able to adapt, and then once I do, I feel like they have a hard time adapting back. I don't know, it could be a player thing. I don't know what it is exactly, but I generally don't struggle against them. I had a set against Broseph just recently, I played as Quan-Chi in Combat League. He beat me 2-1. Then we ran it back in friendlies. He beat me 3-2. But I wanted to run it longer and didn't get the opportunity. But it doesn't change the fact that I still feel like with Shujinko, I think Reptile actually, you know, can do really well. Like, I can do block strings that are plus on block and shit. That feels really good. I can run in and make it a little bit harder for like Quan-Chi to like easily zone me out. So I don't know, but yeah. Rother says don't change your matchup. Let you play me. Honestly, I might. Like, I've wanted to run the set, the Quan-Chi Reptile set. I'm basically always down to play any Quan-Chi players because I want to run the set more, but yeah, there's not enough Quan-Chis, I guess, that are really good that are wanting or willing to play me. But honestly, maybe I'll play Rothor. Maybe he'll whoop my ass, and then maybe Quan-Chi's gonna go here. Who knows? Who knows, man? Maybe I'll change my mind. But as it stands, I currently feel like Reptile wins against Quan-Chi with Shujinko as a cameo. I could see it also being like this, honestly. I could see it being a 5-5. But, you know, I think right now that's probably Reptile's best matchup. Like, and yeah, maybe it's a 5-5, in which case he wins 0 matchups. But yeah, and then the last one that we have here is Peacemaker, and Peacemaker is shit for Reptile. He's actually shit for Reptile. His force field makes my projectiles, my acid ball, useless. He has a mid projectile with Eagly that for some reason on block he can just throw out 2 times in a row because they wanted to patch it out and didn't, which is mad stupid. But yeah, so Peacemaker, he's pretty annoying. His projectile game and stuff is really good. He can do block strings into Eagly that can be pretty annoying as well, and he can even bait Reptile's armor between it and punish him for it because Reptile's armor is so slow. It's pretty bad, honestly. And like, if he wants to play the runaway game, there's not a whole lot that you can do about it as a Reptile player. You kind of just have to let him. And then even when you knock him down, yeah, his torpedo shit on wake up, especially if he has a cameo that can make it safe, you kind of have to respect it. It's very hard to like even break his armor. He's just really fucking annoying, dude. This character is tough to deal with. He's definitely tough to deal with, and then he has mix-ups off of all these different things and shit. Not a fun time. So that's essentially, I think, it when it comes to my opinions on the different characters in this game. Yeah, normally I don't go for this like 0.5 stuff, but I feel like there is a difference between these. I don't think if I put them all in the same category, it would be really showing how I feel about these matchups. And I don't think a 2-8 is like kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I don't really like to even think that's an option. So there you go, guys. He has 4, 8. He has like 11 losing matchups. 11 losing matchups with 5, 10, 13 evens and 1 winning. That is apparently pretty debatable because I have Cease in the chat that is saying that Quan beats Reptile. So maybe my opinion is going to change and we're going to have him here. Maybe my opinion is going to change and we're going to have him here. In which case, Reptile has 0 winning matchups. But as it stands, I'll leave him here, and we'll see where it is. But if you guys are watching on YouTube, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.